Good evening and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. I hope you guys have been having yourself a great day. We've got a brilliant show for you today, a very special show. Remember, about 2 weeks ago, I reached out and I said, I want to get some of you guys involved because you always come with some brilliant comments and stuff like that. And I'm like, would love to get some of you guys involved. We put it out there and we invited people and the response was unbelievable. Unbelievable, the response. But I've got 3 people coming on tonight. We're going to try in future shows to get some more people on as well because so many of you want to get involved. But really, really good to have some people involved tonight. Now, first of all, let me bring them in. I've got Dr. Viraj Kulkarni. If I pronounce that right?
It's Kulkarni.
Kulkarni. Dr. Viraj, it's great to have you on. I always see you commenting on the show. Always.
Thank you so much, Robbie. Thanks for having me.
Thanks
for having me on.
So whereabouts? Are you based in India?
Yep, I'm based in Mumbai, in India.
Mumbai in India. All right. Listen, it's great to have you on. We've also got Noam on. How you doing, Noam?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Now, I actually know Noam. I've seen you at many Arsenal games. So, a lot of times you've come on, you've done videos before as well. I didn't realize it was you, but it's great to have you on as well. Yeah. So welcome along. Where are you based? Were you based in London?
Yeah, based in London, Golders Green, that kind of area, Hampstead.
All right. Noam's up in the lockdown like us. And then we've got Ben. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Whereabouts are you based?
I'm based up north in Leeds.
Up in Leeds?
Yeah.
And your club is?
My club is Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Liverpool, yeah.
You got Ben on Liverpool fan. That's why he's got this big old smile. Every Liverpool fan nowadays, every time you see him, got this big smile. You know what I mean? Right? Because they're on the verge of winning the league. You know what I mean? So listen, it's great to have you guys on. It really is. I really appreciate the way that you guys watch the show religiously, always are commenting on it, and it's fantastic to have you all involved in the show tonight. So thank you very much for coming on. First of all, I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to watch the Bayern Munich Borussia Dortmund game, which literally just finished before the show. It was actually a very good game. But Bayern Munich winning the game by 1-0, and literally they've won the title now. They're about 7 points clear. Did any of you get a chance to watch it?
No.
No.
I still just Kimmich's goal, and that was
Kimmich's got the chip, yeah. Kimmich with a great chip in that. But obviously, we're going to have to get used to this because this is what it's going to be like when the Premier League comes back. It's going to be behind closed doors. Ben, as a Liverpool fan, do you care, or do you just want to get the season finished so you can win the league?
I think it's a mixture of feelings, to be honest. I mean, Anfield being what it is an incredible stadium. You know, when you've got Anfield packed, you know, the fans singing how they do, it's like they are like a 12th man. It's like when you get out there, you really do feel a buzz. So, but at the same time, I just want to get football going, you know, being able to watch it on TV. It's just going to be fantastic. So either way, I'm happy, really.
Okay. What about you, Noam? Obviously, I know that I've seen you at so many Arsenal games. So you're used to going to the games. When it comes back, you won't be able to go. You know what I mean? Yeah. You won't be. None of us will be. Behind closed doors, I mean, what do you reckon?
Obviously, behind closed doors isn't ideal, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I just want to see the season completed. I want to see some football again, English football.
Do you think it will work against us, Arsenal? Games being played behind closed doors?
I don't know. Our stadium's usually quiet anyway, isn't it? So, but you know. It's going to show which clubs are really good and which clubs, like, it's all based on ability now.
Yeah.
So the fans won't be able to have an impact on the players, and we'll be able to see who's good and who's not.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Dr. Viraj, listen, welcome along. I always see your comments
Thank you so
every
much.
day. You know what I mean? I really do appreciate the support. And you said you're based in Mumbai. You actually work?
I'm not exactly working right now because I've told you, like, I have to take care of my parents who are aged above 60, and just because they are above 60, they happen to fall in the high risk group. and I can't just let them be and do all the household chores by themselves.
Wow,
And
wow,
I do have a licensing exam to prepare in the month of September, so I'm
wow.
currently studying for it.
But everybody in your profession must be so busy now. I mean, how hard has it hit India?
To be honest, Robbie, the cases in India have been rising over the past couple of weeks. Like on a daily basis, there's been a rise of 5 to 6,000 cases on an average. But the positive part of it is the mortality rate is very less.
Hmm.
Like there aren't a lot many people dying. Like according to the latest news, what I happened to see today, the total number of cases in India were around 1.4 lakhs, but the mortality rate was somewhere around 3,000 or so. So it is a good sign, but I still don't know once the lockdown is lifted out in India, what like how the spread of the infection is going to take place. Is it going to be exponentially high or is it going to be low or not?
Hmm. And have you been coping with the lockdown?
Like AFTV is one of the recreational sources that I had or have during the whole lockdown thing. Other than that, I'm just studying because, like I said, I'm pretty serious about my exam. And the third option is probably Netflix.
Studying on Netflix.
Yes.
That's a good selection. Well, listen. Let's get into some Arsenal talk as well. I'll start off with you, Dr. Viraj. Rumours today that Arsenal might be willing to let go of 3 defenders. When we get to the summer transfer window, that those 3 defenders are Socrates, Mustafi, and also quite surprisingly Rob Holding, who was doing really well and having a great season last year up until when he got injured. The rumours are, and these are only rumours, that Arteta be willing to get rid of all those 3. You think he's doing the right thing in getting rid of those 3?
As long as we replace those defenders with a really good signing, I think it's okay. Because if you consider the ages of Socrates, he's I guess about 30. He's 31.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's Mustafi. To be fair to Mustafi, he's actually been our best defender this season, if I'm not wrong. He's actually really very improved under Arteta. But I think he is still not lived up to the hype of the 35 million euros which we actually spent for him from Valencia.
Pounds, not euros.
Yeah,
Pounds.
yeah, 35 million
30
pounds.
million
Yeah.
pounds,
Sorry.
yeah. Very
About Rob Holding, I've actually heard people saying that he should be given a chance just because he had a long-term injury. But you know what? If you consider the case of Andre Gomes from Everton, I don't know if you recall his injury. He had his uh, leg snapped in half, but he was able to recover in a span of I guess 3 or 4 months. And ever since I guess he made his comeback debut against Arsenal at the Emirates, and he was superb. If you don't know,
Yeah.
and he's a midfielder. So I think we have already cut enough slack for the likes of Rob Holding and Bellerin, and I think it's time for Arteta to move them on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you've got to remember though that sometimes I mean, it is a miracle how Gomez has recovered, and not only recovered. Like you said, in that game against us, he was brilliant, and he is, I think, one of the most underrated midfielders in the Premier League. He's a very, very good player. But everybody recovers a bit different, don't they? I mean, everyone's got different bone structures and stuff like that. I mean, going to you, Noam, are you surprised that Rob Holding, in particular, out of those 3, is being linked with, being sold this summer?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked Rob Holding to stay and see and Arteta could maybe partner him up with Saliba or something. But I mean, everyone was shocked with how Pep was telling Yaya Toure to leave, and now he's doing the same with Rob Holding in a way. Arteta's kind of, you can see that there's that Arteta will bring in the people that he thinks will suit his system, and he'll ship out anyone who he thinks that won't. Simple.
Yeah, Devon says Rob Holding is a talent. We need to give him time. If we sell him and he does well, it will be gutting, and that is the risk. We sell him and then he goes on to do well. Nino says Mustafi to stay for me. Holding's just another Wilshere. sorry, time's up for him. Is he overrated, Rob Holding, Noam, or do you think he is that good?
No, I do think he is that good, to be honest, because he's been unfortunate with injuries. And if we remember, before he got injured against Man United last season, he was doing really well. He was arguably our best centre back last season. So I don't think he's overrated.
Okay. Lots of people bigging you up, Dr. Viraj here. Diego says, Dr. Viraj, the man, the myth, the legend.
Thank you so much.
Ben, you lot don't have problems with defenders, do you? I mean, you know, you're sorted in that area, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, overall, our defence is really good. The only player that I do feel that actually, you know, there is when he plays, Lovren in particular, when he does play, he can be a bit like shaky. So when he's playing, it's like if you got Gomez next to him, you know, it's a bit of a risk. So for a player like Lovren, you need to have a guy like Van Dijk who's, you know, strong. If Lovren doesn't do well, then you've got Van Dijk there just in case any mistakes are made. So I feel like in Liverpool's case, Lovren could be a player that is on the way out. But apart from that, I mean, we're pretty well stocked. Gomez has done a fantastic job with Van Dijk. I mean, their record in the Premier League together is incredible.
Yeah, we could do one of them. Mangi says, a great show, Robbie, and hi to your guests. In my opinion, I would keep Rob Holding. He has the potential if he's given the chance. So it is a surprise that, you know, Rob Holding is being mentioned as one of those, you know, but, you know. Kingsley Opera says, I agree with Dr. Viraj. Socrates is getting to the end. Mustafi has been fair, but I wouldn't mind letting him go. And as for Rob Holding, I'd give him an extra year. So it's kind of a mixed on it. And Asanda says, I think we really hyping Rob Holding. Cashier says, oh, sorry, I lost that one momentarily. He says, Mustafi always has a mistake in him and Holding is overrated. Proof is Mustafi's back pass against Chelsea. So he's still not feeling him. We said at the start of the show, and we sort of got it in the title, how to make Arsenal great again. And in watching that game that I just watched with Bayern Munich and Dortmund, two quality teams, you could see even without no fans being there, you could see how both teams played, especially Bayern. They are a real quality outfit. When we moved to the Emirates, we were told that we're moving there to compete with Bayern. Dr. Viraj,
yeah,
how do we make Arsenal great again?
Maybe start off with the change of owners, because the thing is, I've heard people saying that there needs to be a change in the mentality of the whole team. Okay, since Arteta has come in, I'm not saying the mentality has changed completely, but I'm seeing a bit more fight in the team as compared to when the team was playing under Unai Emery. Nevertheless, it's not only the manager's job to, you know, uplift the whole squad and to improve the mentality. The board has to be passionate enough as well, and it's almost like a synchronous hand in hand job for both the players, the manager, and for the board to make sure that the mentality is improving.
What about you, Noam? How do we make, you know, what steps do we need to take to make Arsenal great again?
Well,
before we moved to the Emirates, we were winning league titles. Now we're nowhere near it.
Well, we got to remember, I wasn't even born when we were great. I agree with Dr. Viraj. We do need to change the owners, but also I think we need to start getting our transfer recruitment right, which we have been doing in the past year, which is a good start. But at the same time, how can you can have bad owners, but if you're bringing in players like Mustafi for 35 million, that's not going to get you anywhere, is it?
Ben, right? You guys were in a similar position to where Arsenal are now for quite a long time in the league. You had that one season when you could have won it, the slip up. Remember that one?
Yeah, I was watching that game.
Thought I remind you. But yeah, you had that. But apart from that, Liverpool have not really challenged for the league either. But now they're great again. How has Klopp pulled that off?
I think it's a mixture of a few things. I think that, you know, Klopp is an incredible manager. You know, his record in the German league, he's highly looked up to as a manager. I think that one thing that we do have quite well is we've got a fantastic board who, if, you know, Klopp goes to them and says, right, I want to get this player, then the board will look at it and be like, right, here's the money you want, and we can go get that player. So having a strong board, having a solid manager in who can look at different positions and be like, right, these are the positions I want to shore up, and these are a list of players that I want to potentially get. I think that's really helped us. And then the way he develops players has just been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the likes of Sadio Mane, who, you know, he never came from a big club. He came from Southampton, and what he's doing now is incredible. So getting in these players and having a manager that can take him from one level to a next level is going to be really important.
It's, you know, just go back to you, Dr. Viraj. The easy things to say about the owners, but do you think it's as simple as that? Just the owners need to go? Is that for you the first step?
Is there any other suggestion that you could give us? Probably, because the thing is, it's been what I guess 14 years since we moved to the Emirates, and since then we haven't won a single league. Although I know the last time we won the league was in 2003 and 4, but we, like you said, we were supposed to compete with the likes of Bayern Munich, but you know, when we went to Munich, we got spanked 5-1. So that's not called competing. That's really not called competing. We have, to be honest with you, we are still a big club, but if we don't improve our mentality and if we don't get our recruitment right, we are only going to fall even further behind the likes of City and Liverpool. And let's not forget, even we have Newcastle right now coming up with their own Saudi owners. So I don't know. I guess with respect to the whole coronavirus situation, I think Kroenke might just be forced to sell the whole club. Now, I don't know who he sells it up to. There is this rumors about the Nigerian billionaire Aliko Dangote. Now, I don't know whether he is going to actually buy the whole club or not. Well, it remains to be seen.
Yeah. Devon says we left Highbury just for more revenues, not to win things. It's a disgrace. If we keep going, if we keep doing what we're doing, Newcastle, Everton, etc., will overtake us. Bryce TV says change of ownership won't happen. Vinal, Raul, Edu, Arteta, that's it. They are the way back to greatness. They've got a big job to pull off. I was reading today what Kia Jarapchin, the agent, said, where he was bigging those guys up and saying, listen, Arsenal got great guys in charge now. These guys know football, they know recruitment, but they still have to have the money to get the. I mean, you can know the players you want, but if you ain't got the money to get them, you ain't going to get them, are you? Tom EB says we need directors with a vision like David Dean had, and obviously we really miss him. Jordan says do it with youth. Saka is great and Eddie Nketiah is good. Go into youth and spend 130 million. Noam, can we do it with our young players, or are we going to need a lot more than just that?
For me, you need to have a mix of young and experienced players. You can't just rely on your young players to actually to do the job. So I think that you've got to have the likes of Eddie and Saka in there and Martinelli, but at the same time, you need to have a Thomas Partey as well. You can't just have those guys. You know, that's how you get there.
Yeah, Dr. Viraj, same question for you. I mean, are our young players good enough, from what you can see, to push us on to start getting us? It's all about challenging to try and win a league, isn't it?
Yeah, so far, so what I've seen, I'm actually impressed with the likes of Bukayo Saka and Martinelli. But like Noan said, there has to be a mixture of both experienced players as well as youngsters, because the youngsters still need time to develop into big stars. Like Martinelli has been good so far, like chipping in with 10 goals, but in order to be really world class, he has to do it on a consistent basis, and for that he needs time.
Yep. Elliot says, greetings from Toronto, great show. Change in ownership is not needed. Better management is. Liverpool and Leicester have lower net spend than Arsenal, and yet they are higher up in the table. Wake up. But Elliot, we can, and as it says, do what Abramovich did when he first bought Chelsea, which is basically spend loads of money. But Elliot, sorry, Ben, you did change your owners, didn't you? Because you had owners, and you were spending money, but it weren't going anywhere. It was a nightmare actually for all Liverpool fans, and you did change your owners, didn't you?
Yeah, I think that was a big turning point for us. You know, having an ownership that the way they were, and it just wasn't going right for us. It was painful to watch. So now that we've got new ownership and we can see that we're definitely going in the right steps, I think that's key. You know, when fans say about ownership that, you know, maybe the injection isn't needed, I think it's needed to a certain point, because if Arsenal, let's say, have, you know, for hypothetical speaking, about 70 odd million per transfer window, you're not going to be able to get many, like, you know, top players. Like, you know, you're not going to go and buy 3-4 top players. So I think that the investment needs to be put in, and it needs to be on the players in different positions that can really help and make sure that what the manager is looking for links in with what the board is looking for. Because at the moment, Arsenal just don't have that at the moment.
Yeah. Arturisha says, hello, Robbie. To be great again, every player should feel what greatness is being great. And big means no matter what happens, we need to win. Losing matches should hurt like pain. So I think what he's trying to say is that players got to play for their badge. They've got to understand what it means to play for Arsenal. That's one of the things, isn't it, Dr. Viraj, that Arteta's been trying to instill. You can see already he's trying to instill that into the team.
Yeah, you know what?
For Arsenal.
Talking about Arteta, I really like his demeanor as a manager. Like when he first came into the club, it isn't like that case how Manchester United had under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because when Solskjaer came into United, they had a winning spree of I guess 13, 14 matches, but that wasn't exactly the case when Mikel came in. When Arteta came in, I guess one of the first few matches he happened to lose against Chelsea at the Emirates, but ever since that loss, he knew what are the specific he knew how to pay attention to intricate details up in the squad and to make certain tweaks with the whole squad and making the right substitutions at the right time. The only disappointment for me was the loss against Olympiacos. I think we should have won that match, but I'm really liking the way how Arteta is actually making the team squad. Like it's just progressive changes, if you were to say.
Lewis Moss says, hey all, what's one thing you want to change in football? So I guess this is for everything. One thing you want to change in football. We start with you, Ben.
I'd say sort of more of a closer relationship between the fans and the club. I feel like that's one thing that definitely needs to improve, especially coming out of the situation we're in. That fans, I feel, should get a bit more into the inside of the club, be invited to different events that go on with, whether it's at training grounds or at stadiums, just to really get fans to get in behind the scenes, see what, you know, things are like at the club, and see all those things that no fan really gets to see at the moment.
Yeah, what about you, Noam?
I completely agree with Ben, but also I'd like to stop clubs from spending mad money, because I'd like to go back to those days where, you know, you had clubs with players who would actually play for the badge, and now it's just basically they go there for the money, and you've got players like Mesut Ozil who's just, you know, he doesn't really care about the badge. He'll play well once every 10 games or so, you know, and I just miss that. I'm never back.
Dr. Viraj, one thing you want to change about football?
You know, instead of changing anything in football, I would like clubs to take up the initiative to stress more upon the mental aspects in a player's career. Because if you see in times like these, when there is a coronavirus pandemic and everyone is forced into a lockdown, we are actually seeing a lot many footballers going outside and not exactly adhering to the rules. Okay, and this does seem to have a mental implication upon the players. So whenever a player is being tested medically before he joins the club, there has to be they have to make sure that he is being mentally prepped as well. And then I think it should be a part of the training regimen.
Okay, that's the doctor in you coming out there. Everybody else will be like, spend loads of money, but you're looking to look after people. That's the doctor in you coming out. Same as Ava says, Robbie, Arsenal fan, always say, Arsenal fans always say use the Klopp model and how Liverpool and give him time. Arsenal should do that to Arteta. But I think Klopp got time because everybody could see that Klopp will improve the team year in, year out. Because when Klopp first came in, Ben, it wasn't plain sailing at first, was it?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't like he came in automatically. We were playing the most incredible football. It was a process that took time, and it was him having a clear strategy of where he wanted the club to be, and it's a case of seeing that progression. And I feel like under Arteta, being a person that's played for the club, he knows the ideology behind it. He knows what it means. So I feel for him that he's a person that should be given time. And like you're seeing at Arsenal, you can see improvements, not massive, but you're definitely seeing steps in the right direction. So I definitely feel that managers do need to be given the time to come into a club, show what they can do, and be given an opportunity to get clubs where they can be.
King Ken says in Klopp's first season, he finished 8th. So, I think Arsenal fans have to take that into account. We are going to have to be very patient with Mikel Arteta because it's not going to be overnight. It's definitely not going to be overnight. It is going to take him time, and he is going to have to be getting rid of some of these players. And he's going to have to be ruthless. And by the sounds of it, if he's looking to get rid of guys like Rob Holding, that is being ruthless. What about you guys? Let me get to you, Dr. Viraj. Some of the rumours about Coutinho at the moment. Now, good fit for Arsenal if we got him in on loan?
Yes, absolutely. I liked him as a player when he was playing for Liverpool. He hasn't really performed well, if you were to say, for Barcelona as well as for Munich. But I liked him as a player when he played for Liverpool. And I think he would be a perfect fit for the number 10 position at Arsenal because, Mesut Ozil is not going to turn up week in, week out for us. And that has been the case since the past couple of years. But if I were to say, I don't see Arsenal making a permanent deal for Coutinho. I think Coutinho would be a loan deal because even he is going to demand high wages, around 250 grand a week. And you still got Aubameyang's contract offer. You still got to tie him up. You got to tie up the likes of Bukayo Saka.
What about you, Noam?
100%. I love Coutinho. 100%. He'd be perfect for Arsenal, in my opinion. I think he would be a great fit. Come in and do the job. He would chip in with 10 goals in midfield, which is exactly what we've been missing this season. So for me, perfect replacement. 100%.
Of course, he was a Liverpool player before he went for that mega money, which you guys was able to then use to get, Van Dijk and get Alisson. So it worked out brilliantly for you guys. What's his best position? That's what I'm trying to work out. If we did get him, where would be the best place to play him?
It depends really, because he can play out on the wide. He can play as a number 10. So it really, I think for Arteta, it just depends because you're not gonna put a Coutinho in and replace Aubameyang or Lacazette. It just won't happen. So I feel like if you were to put him in and replace Mesut Ozil, he'd be a good fit. He's a player that can drive at players. He's not afraid to drive at players. He knows the Premier League inside out. He knows, he's a top quality player. And I feel that having that, a person that will drive, he can shoot, he can score goals. He's a fantastic passer of the ball. He's great taking free kicks. So overall, he's a fantastic player. And I think that he'd be a massive benefit to Arsenal as long as he doesn't score against us.
Yeah, listen, I'm for it. For me, if we were able to get him, it would be about putting him in the number 10 position. There's no point in getting him, excuse me, if we were to be playing him out wide. We got enough players in those positions. But in that number 10 position, also offering some serious competition to Mesut Ozil, I think that would be perfect. But we have to wait and see if that can get done. His agent is Kia Joorabchian, he's a big Arsenal fan. He's close to the guys at Arsenal. So it's not impossible to see it happen as a loan. It definitely is not going to happen as Arsenal buying, but not impossible to for it to happen as a loan. There's another comment coming here. This guy says, Robbie, do you think Bayern Munich will ever go for Bellerin again? Since their right back done very well today. For me, he should be talked about more on being sold. Bellerin, that Alfonso Davis that Bayern's got is an absolutely incredible player. And then they've also, got so many good players in those positions. I'd be surprised if they wanted Bellerin. But again, putting it to you guys, this is another guy that is coming off the back of a really horrendous injury. Do we give him time, or do we get ruthless and get rid of him? No. Bellerin.
For me, I'm a bit mixed on it because I like Bellerin as a player, and I do see him as a leader because he's been at the club for so long, and he's one of the few players that we have who've been at the club for so long. But if a good offer came in at the times like this when we need the money, I think I would take it.
Is he captain material to you, though? You said you see him as a leader?
Captain material for me is like a Tony Adams who's going to pin someone up in the dressing room if they don't do well.
He's not going to pin no one up.
He's not going to do that, so he's not captain material for me. I don't think so.
Dr. Viraj, would you sell Bellerin or keep him?
I'd be only willing to sell Bellerin if there is no suitable replacement for him in the market. Like if at all Norwich City goes down after the league resumes, I think we could possibly get Max Aarons on a cheaper deal, because even they are one of the clubs who are really in a loss at the moment. So they'll be in real need of money. So if that deal doesn't seem to happen, then maybe I'll give Bellerin time. Because if not Bellerin, then we still have Chambers who could be used as a backup right back option.
I mean, there's this guy here, Pac, says it's time to get an upgrade on Bellerin. I mean, is he overrated, Dr. Viraj?
He was probably overrated when he first broke out into the scene, but ever since his injury, he's actually lost his pace. Okay, and he cannot really cross the ball. Whenever he goes up to the right wing, I haven't seen him take a player down or take a player up to the byline and then cross it to the likes of Aubameyang or Lacazette. So I think we really do need a right back who can actually cross the ball.
All right. What about up front? Lacazette has been getting a lot of stick. What's your views on Lacazette? Would you sell him?
There were actually links about Lacazette going to Atletico Madrid and them talking about a swap deal for Thomas Partey. If that deal is still on, I would take it, because if Aubameyang signs a contract for another 1 year, we could possibly play him up front with Martinelli up to the left wing and Pepe on the right. And I see, the thing is, Robbie, we really don't have a strong midfield. We have actually missed a really strong defensive midfielder. I know Lucas Torreira is good, but I still don't think he's up to the level. Like not really good. He's just average, or maybe a bit better than average, but he's not exceptional or something.
Would that be another one you'd be selling as well then?
I wouldn't be selling Torreira. I would rather keep Torreira just to be second fiddle. Maybe he could play in the matches in the Europa League or maybe in the league.
Dr. Viraj, we're talking about making Arsenal great again, and if you're saying a player's average, we ain't going to make it great again with average players. So you got to be ruthless.
Considering the current market, we won't be able to get players. That's what I'm saying. Considering the current market, do you think Arsenal would be really willing to shell out that much amount of money to get replacement for every position? Like, we do need a right back, we do need a centre back, we need a really strong defensive midfielder, we need an attacking midfielder who could chip in with goals. Do you think we are going to shell over 100 million to get all these players? I don't think so.
Definitely not in this window. Beatbox Dre's beat says Lacazette is dead food. No one. Lacazette. Your opinions on him? Would you get rid of him? Would you keep him? What would you do?
I like Lacazette. You know, people tend to forget he was our player of the season last year. You know, he's had one bad season. Everyone starts slating him. The only reason I get rid of him is if we can get Partey in return, because that's something we've been lacking for ages. And we do have guys like Martinelli, Saka, who can play, who can attack, you know. But other than that, I'd love to keep him. I like him. I like him a lot.
Torreira.
I like Torreira as well. I'd keep him. Even though he's worth a lot of money, I think he would work well with Partey, because you've got Partey who's tall, strong, and Torreira the short one who can do the rest. So I keep Torreira as well.
Ben, are you surprised as a Liverpool fan to hear Arsenal fans saying that they'd move on Lacazette? Because there's a lot of them been saying that. When I speak to people sort of outside the club, they're kind of shocked to hear that, because they're like, Lacazette, he's quality, but what's your opinion on it?
To be honest, I'm quite shocked by it. I mean, I think Lacazette's a great player. I mean, like it's been said, he was Arsenal's player of the season last year, and every player, no matter how good you are, you're always going to go through a tough time. It doesn't matter how much of a quality player you are. So I feel like, you know, you shouldn't be getting on players' backs. You should be, you know what, he's going through a bit of a tough patch, but, you know, there's nothing stopping him to get back to, you know, being how much of a good player he is. So whenever players go in a bit of a downhill, I feel like fans just need to get behind them, support them, and then that'll probably do nothing but give them a boost to be like, you know what, the fans are backing me. Now, you know, I feel a lot more confident in myself, get back to how he can be and get scoring goals again.
Yep. That's in short supply, that patience that you're talking about. Dr. Viraj, right, another player I want to ask you about, right? Xhaka.
It's probably a bit of a controversial topic out there, because the thing is, I have failed to understand why Granit Xhaka has been still playing for Arsenal ever since his, fallout with fans at the Crystal Palace game. I think that was it. After that match, I really thought that he would be probably sold to Hertha Berlin in the month of January, but that never happened. But although the even more surprising fact is, he's one of those players who has actually played under each of the three managers. Like if you were to Unai Emery, Freddie Ljungberg, and even under Mikel Arteta, he's been one of the players who is actually in the start of is always in the starting 11. But I don't know. Maybe the new position that Arteta does have for Xhaka, maybe that is the one thing that suits him. He was never the kind of player who would, chip in with goals or have assists after assists to his game. He's the kind of player who would do the dirty work. So,
you ain't answered the question. Would you keep him or would you get rid of him? It's harder when you're up here, isn't it? When you're up here and everyone's looking at you, it's harder, right? When you just got to fling that comment in. I'm putting you on the spot. Xhaka, in or out?
I'd sell him. I'd sell him.
Okay. Noam.
I'd sell him. You know, it's great that he managed to turn things around when he fell out with the fans, but he's just an average player and he's not going to take us to the next level. And if we really want to start competing again and getting into that Champions League, I don't think Xhaka is the right man.
Okay. Loads of comments coming in, by the way. Thank you very much for all the comments that have been coming in. Winston says, too many average players. Only keep Saka, Aubameyang, Tierney, Leno, Martinelli, Guendouzi, and probably Torreira. The rest try and get rid of. Wow, he's been proper ruthless. Elliot says, Bellerin is a fashion model who does not study the game nor his opponents. Laka can bring us Partey. Torreira can leave if he wants. And Xhaka is a liability. Sell all. Jeez. They're not messing around tonight, man. Winston, did I do this one already? Oh, yeah, I've done that one. Andrew, commenting from Facebook, he says, yes, I get that. Patience. The biggest good news we got was Arteta taking over. Very important step number one is Aubameyang and Saka staying. How important is it, Noam, that Aubameyang stays? Or do you think, you know what, if he wants to go, let's take the money and move on?
Even though Aubameyang's over 30, he's someone who's going to guarantee you 25, 30 goals a season. He's got a good 2-3 years left in him. I don't see signs of slowing down. for me, it's vital that we keep him for next season because he's the man who's going to get us into that Champions League. So
Okay,
there's no debate. I don't understand why people would say sell him. I just don't understand it. I honestly don't understand why people are saying to sell him.
Dr. Viraj?
I would definitely keep Aubameyang because there isn't a like-for-like replacement for him, and he's probably one of the most fittest players I've ever seen because he rarely ever gets injured. And secondly, he's always one of those players who would always score minimum more than 20 goals a season. So I would definitely keep him.
Definitely keep him. Ben, who's better? Aubameyang or Salah?
That's a tough one. I feel like
Remember, you're Arsenal channel.
I feel like they're both fantastic players. I mean, Salah's still, Aubameyang's, how old is Aubameyang? 30, turning 31 in the summer. Salah's only 28, so we've still got a good 2 years on him before he gets to Aubameyang's age. So I feel like in terms of who's better, I feel like it's very, very difficult to say. I mean, as a Liverpool fan, obviously, I'm going to have to say Salah's better because he came in that first season and just absolutely started scoring like no tomorrow. But for Arsenal, I think it's absolutely vital that you keep a player like Aubameyang. You just cannot afford to let him go. He guarantees his gold. Like I said about his injury record, he's hardly ever injured. Unless he came and to the board and said, look, or even to Arteta and said, look, I want to go this season. Like, I've made my mind up and I want to go. Then it's a different position. You probably have to sell him, but at all costs, keep him.
Grant Teresa says, hi, Robbie, when are you going to do this again and how can I get on next time? We will do it again. We've got about 100 people who've already said they want to get on. We've got 3 on tonight, so you can say I've got a little way to go to try and chip away. But basically, you send into AFTV content at gmail.com and say that you want to get on the show. Send a little video. This is what these guys done of them sort of talking about football, and we'll try and get you on. But there's a lot of people to get on at the moment. These are the lucky 3 at the moment. Dr. Viraj, the elephant in the room is Mesut Ozil.
Sell him.
And
Sell him. Sell him.
All right, hold on. I haven't even asked you yet. Sell him.
Yep.
What would you rate him at his time at Arsenal? What would you give him out of 10? His time at Arsenal?
Probably a 6.
6.
He just had one amazing season. I guess it was the season when Leicester won the league, and he led the assist chart. He had, I guess, 19 assists to his name. But you know what, Robbie? Ever since Alexis Sanchez left Arsenal for Man United, that has been the time when even Ozil's form has declined. Because you see, whenever them two used to play with each other, they had that kind of a partnership with each other. When Ozil always used to look for Alexis, and Alexis used to score on his assist. But ever since Alexis's transfer, Ozil's form has been terribly disappointing. And again, like in the big games, in the big away matches, especially, like if you were to go, if you are actually playing a game with Mesut Ozil at Anfield, you are playing with 10 men. You are not playing with 11. You are playing with 10 men.
Wow.
And that itself is an advantage to Liverpool.
All right, Noam.
I would get rid of him.
All right, Noam.
He's past his best. We know that. He's not going to get to the same level he was when he got the 20 assists in one season. He's got to go. He's a burden. He's £350,000 on the wage bill. He divides the fan base, and when he's not played, some fans aren't happy. When he's played, some fans aren't happy. You gotta let someone like that go. You know, that way there's no debate about should he play, should he not. That's why.
Sorry, no. Finish what you're saying.
No, that's what I think. That's it. He's just got to go for me. You got to sell him. Someone like that. As I said, he divides the fan base. He's a burden on the club. He takes £350,000 a week. Some weeks he doesn't play. Some weeks he doesn't show up. Some weeks he shows up. He's just inconsistent, and you can't have a player like that in your squad if you want to move forward.
Ben, Ozil, What do you make of him from afar?
I feel like, I mean, I couldn't agree less with Arsenal fans. His time is absolutely done. For a player, is 32, I believe he is now, so he should have easily been going to a point where, you know, he's been at his best, but definitely hasn't been. The biggest problem with Ozil is that I know Arsenal fans saying sell him, but the problem is he won't go. He's on 350 grand a week. No Arsenal player, I mean, no player would leave a club when they're on that much money. It's just not going to happen. So, unfortunately, you're stuck with him for an extra year. I mean, I know he's come out and his agent said that he's not leaving, and I won't be surprised, but his time is absolutely up. He hasn't lived up to his expectations, and he's just not good enough anymore, especially when you've got the likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette up top, goal machines, and he's just not providing for them. So,
okay. Loads of comments coming in. Let me get through a few of them. Colin Thompson says, seriously, who the hell is going to buy Ozil? Washed up and overpaid. He's happy in his comfort zone. We'll definitely see out his contract, and who could blame him, really? Just turn up and give us 100% is all we ask. He says a proper dosser. Right, sorry. I mean, I'm really wondering if Mikel Arteta is going to really be able to get something out, squeeze something out of him, you know? Squeeze something out of him, because there is a player in there. He's still a top player, but we haven't seen it for a long time. Winfred Twom says, we changed the board and the manager, but no big change. We haven't changed ownership. That's why we haven't moved forward. It's all good self-sustaining, but if the owner doesn't give you money, it's pointless. So he's blaming it all on the owners at the moment. Sarah says Ozil is like outdated Apple products. Oh, well, you're not being a bit harsh tonight. Being harsh tonight. Oh, sorry. There was one comment I was looking for. Chris says you'll never get the Ozil assist anymore, but he is a creator. He creates a lot more chances. He needs support. There is a top player in there. Have we ever played him right? Because we know Ozil's not going to get back. But we've never really played that. I've argued that we've never really played that holding midfielder to protect him. Or the holding midfielders have never done the job good enough to protect him. Or do you just think that, he's been overhyped, Dr. Viraj?
Like I said, he's just had one amazing season. But, it's all about making excuses that he didn't have a, strong shield behind him so that he could play his own natural game. But it's not only about providing assist, Robbie. The thing is, there has to be enough work rate. And it's only after Mikel Arteta has come in that I've seen Ozil put in a shift on, in every match. But before that, like up until Wenger's last year, or even when Unai Emery came in, there wasn't really much effort from Ozil. And I really think his time's up.
When the league does resume, which is looking like it's going to happen now, confident, Dr. Viraj, that we can get into the... actually, I'll start with you, Noam. Confident that Arsenal could get into the European places, top 6, top 4?
Why not? We were on the up, We were on the up. I mean, people seem to forget that just before the season got cancelled, just before the coronavirus stopped the league, we were playing well. We were doing well. We were getting... If people look at it and they're like, oh, you draw. If you look at how we play, you would know that we were about to start winning loads of games. We beat West Ham. We were beating Everton. We were on the up. I do really believe that we could have got the Champions League even.
Some tough games coming up though. Right? If you look at it, we still got to play Leicester. We got to play Wolves. We got to play Liverpool. We got to play Tottenham. There's some tough games in there.
But Wolves rely heavily on their fans, and now their fans won't be there. So I think we could get a 3 points there. Look, even though they're really good away, when you notice that at home, their fans really are that 12th man, and then they're not going to have that 12th man to push them on. And
Don't you think those things will work in our advantage then?
I do think those things will work in our advantage because we have some away games, like against Aston Villa, when their fans are really good, and I do believe that without them they will struggle.
Okay, Dr. Viraj, top 4 possible?
The highest position that I think Arsenal might be able to achieve is fifth, maybe not fourth, because if you look at the table right now, we are 8 points behind Chelsea, and we are, I guess, 5 points behind Man United on fifth position. And you just mentioned all the opponents that we have. Like we have Bulls, we have Man City, we have Spurs, we have
Yeah,
Liverpool.
Man City.
Like it's almost like we have 4 to 5 big oppositions to face. And then there are the likes of, I guess, Norwich, we have Villa,
Hmm.
Watford. So I think those are winnable games.
Those games, right, at this time of year, you know what I mean? Those games, you've got teams fighting for their lives. You know, there may not be no fans there, but, you know, Watford need to win that game to stay in it. Villa need to win. Norwich need to win. You know what I mean? So, but do you think, I mean, and I think it was Noam who said about it earlier, is it going to be an advantage to a team like Arsenal? The
It's
fact
probably
that,
going to be the biggest advantage for City because they are always used to playing in a stadium where they don't really have that kind of an atmosphere. But kidding aside, it might be an advantage for Arsenal because like I said, we haven't really performed well in the away matches, and if we were to go to an away place like Molineux for to play against Wolves or maybe Bramall Lane for Sheffield, I think we would have struggled if they would have had their fans there.
Hmm.
But with no fans being around, I would really fancy our chances of winning against the likes of Wolves and Sheffield. But against the likes of Liverpool and Man City, I'm really not too optimistic.
okay, Ben, games, of course, going to return behind closed doors. You're going to win the title, Liverpool. But winning it with no fans there, no parades, is it going to be a real sort of anticlimax?
Yeah, I mean, this really couldn't have come at a worse time for us. Really, you know, practically going to win the league. Everyone knows it. It's going to be horrible. I do feel though, in terms of the celebrations of, if we can put that at a later date, don't know specifically when. It's a lot easier saying that than actually doing it. If that could be put to a later date, then then you can get the fans involved, get the team with the trophy, and have something to enjoy. But it's definitely going to take that effect away from it this year. Now that we're,
it wouldn't be the same either, would it? I mean, if you win the title and then you celebrate it like say at the end of the year, it's not the same, is it? We're now into the new season. There's new games coming on, and it's.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same, and it's going to be hard to take. It's going to be hard to take. Winning a trophy is going to be like, oh, it's going to be fantastic, but you're looking at it thinking, but we've just got to sit here, can't celebrate, can't go out into the streets, can't do anything. So it's going to be hard. But the most important thing for me is that title. Whether we're celebrating or not, that title is key for us, and it's something that we've deserved all season.
Where did you stand on the fact that at first it was looking that we may not even come back? Would you have been happy to have been handed the trophy, or would you be just like, no, we go again next year? Where did you stand on that?
I feel like it would have been tough. I wouldn't have liked just being handed a title. It wouldn't have felt right. I feel that the tricky thing with it is how far ahead we are, and we've only got to win like 1 or 2 games and we've won it. It's very tough. In terms of, if you were to hand the title, then you've got to think about relegation and who goes down. So I think it's very, very tough to. I think it's tough to sort that out, but we're too far into the season to cancel it. Where if it was just a season starting, then it's a different story. But I think all the players just want to get it done now, get the title won for Liverpool, get the season finished, see what the fan oppositions are, and then we look to next season and see what happens then.
Okay. YB says all other fans need to wake up. We've got 10 games to go. If we win all of them, it makes 30 points. I think we can make it to the top 6 or top 4. Win all 10 of them. I think you need to wake up, YB. We ain't winning all 10 of them. Jeez, I mean, nah, no chance. Alex James says no chance of top 4, no chance of Abba staying, no chance of buying any players. You owe Lille £60 million. I mean, what you was talking it up there, Noam. This guy's saying no chance.
Why not? Why not? Explain to me why not. We've
There's
got
some tough games in there. There are some really tough games in there.
exactly, and Liverpool. We've got to remember by the time we played them, they probably had won the league, so they would be on a downslope. So why not? You know, maybe get a point. Come, don't shake your head out. You know.
No. You see, the thing with Liverpool, which we've had all season, and I think that's the one thing that's really kept us going, is our consistency with performances. And people look at other teams in the table and say, "Oh, they've dropped off," but Liverpool have maintained a consistent performance throughout the whole season. So I feel like behind these closed doors, it's going to be a test. It's going to be a test. Liverpool, I'm worried about how we're going to come out. But I do feel the one thing that we've got over any team in the league is how consistent we've been, the pressure we've put on teams, no matter who they are. So I feel like playing Arsenal, I feel like we could definitely beat you.
Yeah, but you're not chasing anything, so you might.
We're not. Sorry, go on.
You're not chasing anything. You're not playing for anything at that point. If you've won the league by then, why would you leave starting your first team and going all out? You won the league. There tends to be a little bit of lapse and that and that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault that. I mean, to be honest, we could well just, go in a bit of a downslope. But I feel that the players we have, the mentality that we've had instilled in this club is, we fight 90 minutes all the way to the end. So I feel that if we want to finish the season, we win the league, but we finish it strongly and stay strong all the way to the end. And I think that's a message that Jurgen Klopp's going to relay. It won't be a case of we get the title, but then we relax. We push, we get to the end, and then at the end of the season, I mean, yes, we're going to be however many points clear, but I think he'll want us to really push and just keep a consistent performance.
You're going to win the league, definitely. It's not going to be a gold one.
No, it's not. No.
The Watford game.
Oh,
be honest, right? You thought you could do it, innit?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I watched that game and, I was going absolutely mental when goals was conceded. It would have been nice to get that Invincibles and go a season unbeaten. But to be honest, we're in a position now where I think that, getting a Champions League the season before, getting the Premier League the next season, I feel like that's fantastic. So for us as fans, it's horrible. Yeah, would have been great to go unbeaten, but to be honest, it's not important.
You, bro.
I was actually ill that weekend when Liverpool lost the game to Watford. I was very badly ill. I might have even had the coronavirus because I had all the symptoms. But when they lost that game, that was the only good thing about the weekend. Honestly, I tell you.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to be the highlight of Arsenal season. That
exactly. That's the sad thing. That's literally what we're waiting on. We're waiting on teams to lose points for us to be happy.
The question here from Beep68 for Dr. Viraj. Who is your best player ever? I assume Arsenal player.
Henry.
Henry?
Yep.
What about you, Noam?
I've actually been watching a lot of Invincibles documentaries to keep up to date because I'm too young to actually know that. But from what I've seen, Thierry Henry was absolutely incredible and unplayable, and I really wish that we had someone now to replicate that.
It's incredible to listen to young fans that haven't seen us win the title, man. How old are you?
I'm 15. I was born in 05.
Gee, so you just after. So you've seen us win the title?
Nope, I've seen 3 FA Cups.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow. We were a big club. Greg Football TV says Magnan 90 million, Nahorst 90 million, Goetze on a free, Edmund Tabzabs, Dr. Viraj is nodding his head there, Tabzabs 90 million, Elvedi 30 million, both centre backs, Kenny Tete 6 million. He's been doing some proper scouting. He says, also, Robbie, did you get my video? I will send it in. Okay. He's been scouting hard there, hasn't he? You were nodding your head, Dr. Viraj. No?
No. I wouldn't have Mario Götze. I really think he wasn't good enough to play for Dortmund, let alone play for Arsenal.
I saw him
So,
come
no.
on today. He's finished, man. DJ Crane says, what if Arsenal start slow when the league comes back? With a certain number 10, Arsenal ain't chasing top 5. I'm saying as low as 11th. Jeez. No one?
Clearly hasn't watched Arteta. I rate him. I think he's really good. I think he's actually going to take us to the next level. As long as he gets the right players and the backing from the board, I don't see why we can't do good things with him.
Okay, Ben. King Ken says, who's your favourite Liverpool player? Keep thinking.
There's so many fantastic Liverpool players, but my favourite has to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, 21 years old, and he's just absolutely incredible. I mean, what that kid has achieved pretty much is incredible, and he's only going to get better and better and better for us.
You swap him for Bellerin?
No, never. No, you can keep him.
What's wrong? I mean, you know what? Bellerin should be at that level. Really,
Yeah.
the amount of time he's been at Arsenal. We know he's had the injury, but that's the standard, isn't it? At the moment.
Yeah.
Arnold or Hakimi? Who's better?
You've got to go Arnold, isn't it?
Alexander-Arnold, I think he's class. Ever since he's come in, he hasn't been, no player's been able to push him out of the position, and you can see the trust that Klopp has in him. So to play for a club like Liverpool at 21 is difficult enough as it is to keep the consistent performances, the assists that he has, his technical ability. I think he is, the best, and he's going to go on to be one of the best we've ever seen.
Okay, we're running out of time on the show. It's absolutely flown past as usual. Let me see if I can get a couple more. There's someone else in it. Oh, you know what? This is a good question. Ricardo or Arnold?
Trent Alexander. Trent.
You know what? Right, we did a team of the season, and I had Pereira, Ricardo. I had him in my team. I rate him.
Yeah.
I just think he's better a defender than Trent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trent's better going forward.
Yeah.
Pereira's excellent at going forward as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. How can you argue against Trent Alexander-Arnold? Because then the amount of assists he gets.
Yeah. You see, I've got two arguments with.
Yeah.
With Trent.
I suppose you'd have to go for Trent. I'd have to go backtrack on that.
Yeah. Yeah. With Trent, the two arguments that I have with him is, look, Ricardo's a fantastic player, but he's 26. And he's a fantastic player. He's probably going to continue to be great. I mean, you've got to remember, when you're comparing a player like Alexander to anybody, he's going to have years on these players. I mean, he's got 5 years on Ricardo. And look how he is now. So defensively, there's no doubt he can improve. He's still young. He's going to get better defensively. And, I can already see that he's getting better and better. But for anybody that compares him, I'm going to have to go Alexander-Arnold all the way.
Okay. Omar says, Dr. Viraj, why do you think we've struggled in Europe despite having great teams in the past?
Maybe because of Wenger's stubbornness. I actually do believe the fact that he did, extend his longevity in the club. Maybe he should have left the club, after the first FA Cup he won, after the 8 or 9 years drought. He should have left after the 2013-14 season. It would have been a nice send-off. But other than that, we really haven't been great because of Wenger's tactics. Because you see the managers who are right now present at the clubs like Klopp or Guardiola. These are the managers who have come up with modern tactics. Okay, and Arsene Wenger was one of those managers who stick to the old orthodox football tactics, which never really worked out in current time. So maybe precisely that is one of the reasons why we struggled in Europe.
Okay, I look. There's been a lot of questions coming. It's like Ask Doctor, right? So this one's a classic. Lone Star Londoner says, Dr. Viraj, how do we stop bleeding? Is Ozil's situation terminal? What surgery do we need at Arsenal?
Like I said, just You know what? I would be even ready to pay off his contract.
A lot of money.
Yeah, but it's better than having one man less, up on the field.
All right, Daniel says, and this one to you, Noam, I presume. He says, forget top four, even top six. Be realistic. The teams above us will not lay down. Stop hoping, because at the end we'll come out moaning. Let's give Arteta time. Let's see what he'll do next season, man. Noam?
I agree. Like, we need to give Arteta time, but I don't see why we can't think positively and think, why can't we get top four? There's no reason as to why we can't get it. If we don't get it, there's no way I'll get on Arteta's back. I love the guy, but I don't see why people seem to be thinking, oh, nah, we're not going to get it. We may as well try it, What are we playing for?
I have a question for you, Robbie.
Yeah.
How much time do you reckon Arsenal will actually give Mikel?
I think, listen, management is a thing like this. A manager comes in, everybody says he needs time, give him time, he needs 3 seasons, give him 3 seasons. That's what they were saying when Emery came in. At the end of the day, it's all driven by results. If Arteta went on a horrible run, he'll be gone as well. That's how football works, I think there's a will to give him time, and I think he needs 3 years. You know what I mean? He needs this season, which, remember, he's only coming sort of halfway through the season. He definitely needs all of next season, especially this whole coronavirus thing. He's going to need the whole of next season. And then at the end of that season, he's then going to need to then move all those high earners like Ozil and that, who are not going to leave this. They're not going to leave realistically this summer. He's going to have to move all those guys out. And that season then, that following season, is when we're going to see what he's made of Arteta, because he'll then have his own players that are adapted and able to play the system that he wants. He'll have no excuses after that. So for me, 2.5 seasons you have to give him. So what we've given him so far till the end of this season, all of next season, and then the following season after that. The reality of it, though, is that if he was to go on a run of games where you say he lost 5 in a row, people would be like, changing. And I know everybody's behind him now, and I'm right behind him, but that's the reality of football. The reality of football is, even Jurgen Klopp, if Klopp lost 6, 7 games in a row, the same Liverpool fans who are saying he's the greatest thing ever will be like, do you know what? Hey, this ain't looking good, man. Maybe we need to have and that's just how it works. That's how football works nowadays. There is no patience in football, and sometimes you need to have patience. The only club I can see that really has shown a lot of patience, actually, has been Man United with Solskjaer. I'm really surprised that they kept hold of him, and he is starting to turn the corner. So patience can be a good thing, but yeah, he's at the wheel. But you look at that, when he came in and he was doing brilliantly, every United fan was behind him. But when he went on that horrible run, they turned. They wanted him gone. So that's football, unfortunately. There is no patience no more in football. But Arteta's got to get at least 2.5 years for him to build his team and for us to see what he can do. Listen, guys, we've come to the end of the show today. It's been brilliant. I really want to thank you. It's been great to have you guys on. Thank you to Ben. I'm not going to wish Liverpool luck because you're going to win the title anyway. But thank you to Ben. Thanks for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you for having me. I've been thoroughly enjoyed it. Right,
Noam, great to see you again, mate. And I can't believe you've never seen Arsenal win a title.
It's devastating.
I forget when it's young Arsenal fans. I forget that they've just. It's terrible.
Never seen it. Your son's never seen it, hasn't he?
Sorry?
Your son, he's never seen Arsenal.
Yes. I hope that he's going to see it, right? But Noam, thank you very much for coming on today. Really appreciate it. And also, Dr. Viraj, nice to meet you. Always love your comments that you send in. Thanks very much for coming on as well.
Thank you very much for having me.
What time is it in India now?
It's 1:30 a.m.
1:30 a.m. in the morning. So listen, Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking
Thank you
time
very
out.
much.
And to everybody who watched the show, we're going to do some others like this where we get some of you guys up here involved in the show. And don't forget, we'll be back in the morning for another AFTV News Daily. Thank you very much.